And welcome back to another video on RJB's Starcraft Cast YouTube channel. And today I will bring to you a game between Inbusjaja and Sithlord LK. Inbusjaja is on the blue Terran on the middle right of the map, whereas Sithlord, who's playing the yellow Protoss, is located on the bottom left corner. And this is a game from Season 1 of the Starcraft world. 1 versus 1 ladder. And this is an exciting match because I know that Inbusjaja is an absolute monster of a player overall. And I know that Sithlord has a pretty solid Protoss. And it will be curious and interesting to see how this skill that Sithlord has relates to Inbusjaja's skill level. Inbusjaja is some Korean. I have no idea who he is, but he is absolute madness personified. Or so I've been told. Sithlords happily and peacefully and slowly scouting the map, throwing down 2 gateways on the middle right here now. He's going to keep following this probe around, unless his probe is going the wrong way, which it is. I'm going to follow this probe around. Probe is going to make the 3rd gateway on the middle, and most likely a pylon very soon as well. 3 barracks is coming out for Inbusjaja. Inbusjaja just doing the normal standard build. It looks like he's familiar with the space map, and this is not the first time he's playing it, or he's been playing it for a while, because his build is pretty much as most of the Westerners play and locate their buildings. Like right there, it's a great position. You can build a bunker behind it. Pretty good for defense. You can build a bunker in front of it as well, but that's pretty much just against mid builds. Gas coming out as well. 2nd pylon has been made inside the base. 3rd pylon as well. These 2 gateways have finished up, and zealots are on the way. Inbusjaja will be found by Sithlord right about now, because he saw that SCW coming from the eastern side of the map, so he knows that he's most likely here in the middle spot. Probe running away as it runs into that marine. Marine stays on the spot. Both probes get pulled back. Not sure why he's pulling both back, because the forge is being built there. Alright, this one's going back in, but it's on low HP. Should have. Alright, both probes are going back, so that's smart. So that in case one dies, you can still get those cannons up with the other one. Zealots engage and initiate the attack. The Marines get microed really well. The single Marine goes down, both Zealots. One Zealot, one down, another Zealot is on low HP. Probe snuck into the base, gonna build a pylon there in the top side. Barrack being built here on the bottom side, inside of Sithlord's base. Sithlord has not scouted the bottom corner there, so he might get cheesed by some fire bats, right? Fight is starting again. Total of 9 Marines up against 4 Zealots. Marines just walking and walking away, waiting for more Marines to spawn from those barracks. He starts microing, a single Marine goes down, but he takes the Zealot down as well. Probe goes down. Now there's only the probe here in the top corner making cannons. Pylon gun down as well. Pylon gun cancelled. Inbusjaja does not know of the cannon there in the top corner, but he's fighting off these waves of zealots quite well. Barrack here in the bottom corner about to finish up, so he can start making fire bats there. Stim upgrade is on the way as well. Medics have just finished up. Sithlord is forced to pull back as the medics spawn, and the Marines can now turn around and fight back against those zealots. Cannon in the top there is about to finish. 2 more cannons being added on. This is starting to look very dangerous for Inbusjaja here. Still ending on depot, so he's not going to get supply stuck. Firebat here is not being made just yet. Focus on something else. Focusing on his base. Bottom corner gets scouted. Cannon is being built already, so he will not have that firebat out before the cannon. It might finish before, but we're going to have to juggle between 2 locations now. He's going to engage the fight here inside the base. Firebat finishes up. Firebats get sent in. Is he going to catch those probes? Firebat runs in, Firebat gets shut off, and it only gets a single shot off, but now the fight here in the top is ended as well. The other fight was more important. Another Firebat has spawned, alright, he's cleaning out the cannons inside of his base, so he's won the fight inside of his base is secured. He's gonna have to try to walk all the way around to get a shot off on those probes. Actually, it looks like most of these probes are still fine. Would take 1 stim hit to kill them. Instead he's gonna go to the middle, and he's gonna try to focus on that pylon there. That's pretty smart. Just using this as a protection facility and sending them to the middle there. All the way back to his base, so he's not even going to let this barrack here go to waste and just keep producing from it and regroup them with the units that are being produced inside of his base. Another fire bat's finishing up here as well. He's going to try to run both those fire bats in there. He might probably get a hit off on those probes if he runs in with those two. But first, the fight is going to start here on the middle. He has control over the middle now, so the pylon in the middle is going to go down. Effectively shut down Sithlord's production facilities. Now Sithlord is forced to pull back to his choke, but there's no cannons at the choke yet. So he pretty much just has to cancel this, and Inbusjaja can just walk in without trouble. Fire bats from the Expo proxy barrack meeting up with the fire bats and marines that are just entering the choke there. Choke gets taken down. Pylon's gonna go down as well. Sithlord is not in trouble of getting supply stocks, so that's good for him. He's building cannons in his base now, adding on more gateways. He's got gas on the way as well. There's a cybernetics core somewhere in his base. Wait, there's no cybernetics core. No cybernetics core down for Sithlord yet, so his gas is pretty much just wasted there. He cannot use that gas whatsoever. He needs a cybernetics core. Still no cybernetics core. There's a gateway being added on there. It's going to be quite a while before he can defend himself properly with the lacking the cybernetics core. He's sending a probe up to the north there. He's going to build an expo there most likely, because he knows that his base is going to be contained and kept small, so he needs that expo. Where is that cybernetics core? No cybernetics core inside the base for Sithlord. Inbusjaja just balling up as soon as they're in the choke. Going to clear out these gateways on the middle first before proceeding with attacking the base here itself. His APM is still very, very high. He's absolutely got great multitasking. There's so many things I got to keep track of here. Got the upgrade on the way, tanks on the way as well. There's a starport on the way, another factory, so that's going to be used for vultures. This one's going to be used for tanks most likely. Might even add on mines if he's going to use vultures. His income is quite good. He's spending really, really quickly, and don't ever see his minerals go up above 200 all that much. So he's really multitasking pretty much better than anyone I've seen so far in my entire Starcraft casting career, which has been short-lived, so it's not, the sample size is not that big, but the caliber of players that I've casted is pretty magnificent. So that goes to say something. Where is the cybernetics core? Cybernetics core is now built down in the corner there. And he's adding on a citadel of a dune and a forge, and not forge. He's going to go for upgrades. He's planning on going for pretty much just a mass unit, so he can fight out the mass units coming in from Inbusjaja. But Inbusjaja now going for the choke there, because he knows he has to go for the engage. He has to keep Sithlord on his toes. He cannot give enough time to rebuild, so he goes in, stims in, meets the zealots. Zealots going to have to buy himself some time to get those cannons up. His cannons are not going to be coming up in time, because his fire bats are chasing them down. Choke once again gets denied by Inbusjaja. Sithlord forced to pull back to his cannons to keep those zealots safe. Firebats walking into the bats, chasing those zealots around. Expo has not yet been started. The pylon is there, so he can start it, but he has not decided to do it yet because he's focused on building inside of his base, making gateways there on the side. Marines engaging with those zealots. Marines staying outside of the range of those cannons. He's going to take down these two gateways here and the pylon first, because he sees that that's not covered or protected by any cannons. Great choice, good target selection, not being greedy. He can even go down to the side here. There's a cannon being put in there as well. Zealot's going to try to get a surround off on those units once he has that. Zealot lags up and the armor upgrades up. Dark Templars are not on the way. Storm's not on the way either. Dark Templars would be really useful here, although Inbusjaja does have a scan. He does have a science facility. So vessel will be coming up very soon. He's got a choke build up also. He can protect himself where the fight has started out there. I missed most of the fight, but the Marines, of course, coming out on top because his micro is superior. He had a greater unit count over Sithlord. Doesn't have upgrades yet, but weapon upgrade is on the way. Expo finally starting here on the top side. Robotic facility is on the way, so we can start producing drops very soon in the near future. Marines now being chased out of the base as they've lost too many of them to those cannons, and the zealots have the upper hand. But I have to admit, Sithlord's base is still very small. The probe counts are about even though. And Dark Templars are now out for Sithlord, so it will be easier for him to defend a little bit, unless, of course, Inbusjaja decides to use his scan to take those down and detect them. Inbusjaja moving around. He saw those zealots moving up to the north, so he's going to chase those zealots around, not to give them the opportunity to do anything. Expo here. Alright, another robotic facility has been added. He's going to pull that marine back, save it from dying to those zealots. The Dark Templars are moving out now. Inbusjaja decides to go aggressive. Now he knows that they're a Dark Templar, so he can use the scan. These Dark Templars get cut out in the middle, unable to retreat, have to fully commit. do take down about 5 or 6 Marines along with them. But Inbusjaja manages to come back in time, just in time, to go and take down this choke here. And there are no units for Sithlord at all inside of his base to prevent himself from losing these cannons here in the choke. Well, a couple cannons do come up. He's going to have to take them down very quickly. Dark Temple's coming in now for Inbusjaja, forced to pull back once again. His APM still very high. Minerals still very low. 61 SCVs against 66 probes. Storm upgrade now on the way for Sithlord. Armor as well, air armor as well. More Dark Templars and a Templar as well here being produced in the top side. Shuttle come on the way as well. Shuttle speed not yet on the way. But Inbusjaja already quite far into building his base. Dark Templar went down. He has a significant amount of tanks now. More Marines are on the way as well. He's about 40 supply ahead over Sithlord. Oop, vessel overshoots itself. Gonna lose a couple of Marines there. Uses the scan to save those Marines and tanks. And he's gonna start the push here. The Zealots are clearing out vision for Inbusjaja, but Inbusjaja just so happens to have his Marines located just outside of the vision of those Zealots. A pure coincidence, because those Marines were there already before those Zealots came walking in. Now the choke is getting assaulted here. Those cannons are gonna go down. Zealots here running back. Oh, not running back, just clearing a path for those shuttles. Shuttles gonna fly on over the northern side of the map, while the push here in the front is happening. Sithlord has to start pumping out a lot of ground forces with Templars very soon if he wants to try and hold this off, but the tanks are gonna progress forward. He gets the defensive matrix up on the frontal tank. That's gonna be an absolute game breaker for Sithlord here, because he's not gonna be able to take that tank down, while it does take most of the damage there. Shuttle's now flying in from the north. Inbusjaja. Ooh, he takes down the Reaver and the Templar before they can even get a shot off. He did dodge, but didn't have to, and Sithlord calls a GG, because Inbusjaja now has the upper hand. There's absolutely no resistance left in Sithlord's base here. Managed to get himself the upper hand, and he takes home game number 1 between Sithlord and Inbusjaja. Maybe this is game number 2, I don't know. I just downloaded this game specifically from the Starcraft world. 1 versus 1 archives, and Inbusjaja takes home a rather convincing win. Wasn't a very eventful match, mostly just denying the choke from coming up and ramping up until he was big enough to just roll Sithlord over. This drop here could have been Sithlord's saving grace, but the drop failed. Inbusjaja was prepared for it. He knew a drop was coming, because it's pretty much just the standard thing that a Protoss is going to do, so better prepare yourself for it. Vision alongside his base as well. Sithlord did take a good path here, but it was not enough. And Inbusjaja, just with amazing micro takes home the win, and great choices as well. Just looking and fishing for weaknesses inside of Sithlord's base in SimCity to abuse. And I just want to check this. I just want to see what Inbusjaja's APM and EPM is. I know a lot of people won't care, but because his APM was so high for so long in this game, I've gotten curious. So I'm going to turn that one on. Now you should be able to see the SCR chart program. I advise everyone to install this program. It's amazing. You can see a lot of somewhat useful statistics, depending on your perspective of what you find useful or what you don't find useful. And this is the game between Sithlord and Inbusjaja. Just going to check it out. And Sithlord has a really amazing ratio here between his APM and EAPM. I'm not entirely sure if that's accurate, but that's an amazing ratio. Nonetheless, Inbusjaja 368 APM and 273 EAPM. And this is accounting for the first 2 minutes, which get removed from the calculation. Like, it starts here. So all the spam that happens at the start is not calculated into this little EAPM, APM average for this game. So just the last 10 minutes of the game determine the APM and EAPM. Inbusjaja has an absolutely insanely high EAPM there, and APM as well, which kind of does explain why he is capable of pulling off that macro so consistently and ramp up so quick. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. I'm gonna cut this one short right here, and actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna throw in another game. I'm just gonna hide Starcraft. I'm gonna throw in another game by Inbusjaja because I quite enjoyed casting that game specifically. I'm gonna load it up. You should be hearing the sounds right about now. Going in there. And let's find another game by Inbusjaja. Alright, I found one. It's against a player called J.Y. Something along those lines. So let's get this second game by Inbusjaja against someone else than the first match, rolling. So I'm also gonna call this video something along the lines of Inbusjaja Showcase, perhaps, because there's two different enemies in this game, but perhaps that might spoil the result of the first one. So JY asks Korea. Inbusjaja says yes, which leads me to believe that both players are Korean, perhaps? I don't know. Alright, so he's playing the orange Zerg. Alright, JY is definitely not Korean because he's talking in English against Inbusjaja. He says he's better than Lovely Rabbit. That's an interesting development. Lovely Rabbit is quite a good player. Alright, JY is from the USA. Could be Jaejun. Jaejun. I'm butchering his name. He's from California. Nice to know. Nice to know. So yeah, he's playing the white Protoss. He's going for a choke build right here. He's gonna build a forge there inside of his choke and then build some cannons there as well. Maybe a gateway. The gateway comes first. And there is another gateway. So no forge this time around. He did set himself up for a choke though, so a forge will be coming down very soon. He's still be able to rush with this configuration he has there. Inbusjaja is starting off with a conventional choke. Hatchery in his choke. Spawning pool over there. Gonna build his hatchery quite far up there. On the side, it's quite a big distance here, but it does ensure that the drones go to the hatchery instead of to this hatchery over there. I always find that very annoying. Spawning pool close to finishing up. JY is close to scouting where Inbusjaja is located. The zealots are on the way for JY. Overlord here is gonna find those zealots. He scouted for the mid build. He's gonna probably see those zealots walking in over the middle, so he knows zealots are coming. Although this probe is going to find him first. Single drone there. He didn't save... Oh, he did save some larva for some Zerglings. He's got that going for him. It's a very early gas coming out for Inbusjaja. Creep colony thrown down. Zealot is out. He sees the Zealot. So he knows the Zealot is on the way, so he can send his Zerglings up to his choke to defend it. More Zerglings being made. Creep colony now being morphed. Probe goes down. Zerglings pull back, Zealot pull back as well, knows it cannot take the fight, has to wait for another Zealot and a probe. Sunken is going to finish up, so this is already a failed attempt at a rush from JY. JY now adding on a cybernetics core, very good cybernetics core. Still no forge, he's mining from his gas now, so we can expect very, very soon tech. Development from JY. Inbusjaja knows where JY is located, so he's going to walk all the way around the middle because he saw those Zealots with the vision of those Overlord. Let's walk right about this part so he knows he has to avoid them. More signals are being thrown down here in a choke. JY is going to try to hit the choke, but he's going to have to force to pull back his units because he sees the Zerglings walking into his base and he's got no defense against those Zerglings. Actually, Zealots are not yet pulling back. This means JY has to stack his probes, take them off the minerals, which is a huge win for Inbusjaja because it buys him a lot of time against this tech progression from JY. JY now stuck, having his probes off of his minerals. Gonna have to fight this. He's gonna have to pull back a couple of more Zealots. Zealot spawns at the gateways. Force is now gonna pull that back to his main. This Zealot gets cut out, but it does manage to escape. Probe still being jumbled. Alright, probe back on the minerals. Zealot is gonna go down there. Zealot managed to get a couple of hits off on those Zerglings. Zerglings microing themselves pretty well. While the fight is happening, a pound has been thrown down here on the middle and a cannon as well. More Zerglings are on the way. Now walking through the choke. Cannon is just started up. Inbusjaja doing pretty well at slowing JY down here. Buys himself a lot of time. There's a Stargate on the way as well. CPM is still high, so I know this player is pretty good. But I don't know if it's the low money player Jejun or if it's someone else using JY as his username. Microwing Zerglings on two ends at the same time. Quite difficult to keep track of, but Zealots there going down to the cannon. Zealots here. Zerglings here just running around getting himself information. And he's still progressing. He's got a lair now. He's ending on a spy. He's going for very fast Mulelist in a PVZ. Quite risky because if JY decides to be offensive after fighting off these Zerglings, he can pretty much just walk in and deal significant amount of damage before the Mulelisk spawn. And he only has a single hatchery there, so there won't be that many Mulelisks coming out unless he saves larva on his choke as well. He's now adding on creep colonies to his chokes. He's going to try to plug up the hole there. He's going to scout this cannon there. Two Zerglings going down to the cannon. Kind of sad to see that happen. JY's APM has now dropped significantly. Inbusjaja's APM is still quite up there, but not in the 400s anymore. It's very hard to keep that up. So double hatchery, adding on stupendous amounts of gas. 4 gas very early. But I think he's shooting for at least 9 Mulelisks for Mulelisk Micro to go and harass JY with. JY has a Corsair on the way. Mulelisk not that great against Corsairs, but if he splits up his Mulelisks, he can take down that Corsair, and if he micros back the low HP ones, he can save the Mulelisk and pretty much turn that into a great situation. There's only a single Stargate out. More gateways being built inside of the base. He got a second Nexus added on. He's mining from 3 gas. Citadel of Dune has finished. Perhaps we'll be seeing Templar's Archive soon, but not yet. Robotics facilities on the way here on the middle. He's now hunting for those Overlords, and 9 Mulelisks have been queued up, just as predicted. And just before he lost the Overlord, so that means he can get those 9 Mulelisks out and start the Mulelist Micro on JY. JY adding on more cannons on the middle. Keeping his Zealots there to protect them. There's 9. He hotkeyed them with a larva, most likely. Or he's hotkeying them with a Scourge. Scourge can attack on the ground, so that he means he can stack his Mulelisk on the ground. Scourge is also there to take down Corsairs. Corsairs now flying in over his base, chasing the Scourges. Corsairs running back. Corsairs being microed quite well, actually. And the fight is now starting here inside the base of JY. Those Mulelisks are uncontested. Single Corsair there. 2 Scourge. Gonna take down the Corsair. 1 Corsair goes down, still 1 Corsair alive. Mulelisks being microed quite well. Splitting them up and unsplitting them up. But it's only single Corsair there, so these Mulelisks should be fine. Although 3 of those Mulelisks have died, now 4 Mulelisks have died. So the damage that he dealt with his Mulelisk is limited. But while it was happening, he's added on a Hydralisk, then Hydralisk speed hatchery there as well. He's ramping up his drone count as well. Now he's sending out Scorches to his Mulelisk so he can take down those Corsairs and start going in and dealing damage again. Cannon now being built at the choke, more cannons being built at the main. Support bay being built as well. No Templar's Archive. Still a single robotic facility there at the choke. Shuttle is being made. It's going to fly in and focus on those. Well, he can't go in there. There's too many cannons, so he has to force to pull back. There's too many Corsairs as well. He could use those Corsairs with the Scourges, but then he will lose his Mulelisk as well. Some of the Corsairs might also go down to the cannons, so wise choice to pull back to his base and start building onto his base. Adding on 2 more hatcheries, maybe a 4th one, 3rd one as well, so it'll be 6 total there inside of his base and 1 at his choke. Only 3 cannons in his choke still. And actually, oh, he takes down the shuttle. Very smart from Inbusjaja there, making just checking the progression on that middle and seeing that there's a shuttle and immediately taking the shuttle down with those Scorches. Mulelisk now going to fly back to the base. Got a couple of Mulelisk, Hydralisk there on the ground as well. Aesthetic as ground defense against drops. Evolution Chamber on the way. More creep colonies being built around his main. Probably Sunkens or Spores. Slowly ramping up his drone count. 35 drones now up against 43 for JY. JY is sending out his Corsairs over the east side of the map. He's going to clear out Overlords. See if he can get that down. He finds the Mulelisk attacking his choke, but the Mulelisk forced to pull back because they cannot take down the cannon without giving up their lives. Corsairs is still hanging here to intercept anything that's going to fly from JY's base to Inbusjaja's base. Inbusjaja now responding by taking down the probe that he saw moving there to the side. So no static defense is coming up for JY on the sides. Middle still progressing slowly. He got slowed down by losing that shuttle. But there's a Reaver on the way now. He got slowed down significantly because there's 9 minutes into the game, 9.5. And the Reaver is not out yet. It will finish at about 9:35. Corsair's chasing away those Scorches. 9 hatcheries for Inbusjaja now, 4 of which are still on the way. But once those finish up, he's going to be ramping up even quicker than he has been so far. 49 drones. He's just surpassed JY's probe count. JY still making probes though. Temporal Starcraft has finished as well. He's now killing Overlords, which might put Inbusjaja into a bit of a pickle because he's going to be supply stuck. Well, he's 2 off being supply stuck, and he's got more Overlords on the way. Yeah, he's supply stuck now, so it's going to take a while before those Overlords finish. But he's got drones to use to open up some space. He's got Scorches flying around the map, chasing for those Corsairs. It will also open up some supply space very soon, once those Corsairs get hit by those Scorches. Reaver on the middle, about to be finishing up. Shuttle flying, navigating itself right in between those Overlords, but this Overlord down here might find that shuttle. Well, Overlord gets spots the shuttle. Drones get pulled off, then he gets a storm off, but the storm doesn't get that many. That second storm does get about 10 or so about 15 drones gone down. The Reaver there did pretty much nothing. All shuttle goes down, Templars go down, Reaver goes down along with the shuttle. Frontier gets attacked by JY. JY in a pretty solid position here to deal some real damage. He's going to take down this choke here. Take down the Mulus as well. Templar there as well, ready to storm some Hydralisks. Why is he attacking? Alright, now he's focusing on the Sunkens. A little bit of time he attacked the hatchery, managed to keep these Sunkens alive. 15 HP, only a single hit on that Sunken left. Sunken's gonna recover very slowly. He's now adding on gateways in his base as well. More gas there on the side, upgrades for armor and weapons. Or is that shields? Alright, it's armor. A lot of upgrades on the way. He's got an Arbiter's Tribunal as well. Let's see from JY's perspective what this looks like. Well, I had the replay thing up all this time. It did spoil the length, but it didn't spoil who's going to win, so that's an upside. I completely missed that I had it up. My bad. Right, so Inbusjaja now has lurkers there. There's no observer for JY. JY now adding on an observatory. Is he? Where is that observatory? I don't see an observatory. Observatory is not yet up. Not being made at all either. That means JY is going to be stuck here in the front for quite some time. Inbusjaja's APM slowly dropping down to lower levels below the 300s. But still very high, 270, 280. And his drone count on 38. I think he assumed he lost less drones than he in fact did. Now spreading out is Overlords, shuttle flying in here on the side. They get spotted by the Scorch, but the Scorch was just outside of the attack range, so it didn't attack. Recall now on the way for JY. A lot of upgrades on the way for JY. Nothing on the way for Inbusjaja. Inbusjaja was AFK for a short bit there, doing something. Now he's back into it. Added a lot of drones onto his minerals there. 60 drones in total now. Shuttle gets spotted. Scorches come flying over to take down the shuttle. It gets spotted again. It goes within the range of a Scorch. Now Scorch is chasing it around. And there's an Overlord being chased down. Shuttle will get shot very soon, unless he micros that shuttle. And he micros the shuttle back successfully to those cannons. Chokes being rebuilt. More Scorches being built as well. And once again, Inbusjaja is supply stuck, as he's lost his Overlord to those Corsairs. This time he's got 6 Overlords on the way, which is quite a big buffer. And it just so happens that JY didn't have Dragoon range yet, so now Dragoon range is on the way as well. Those 2 Corsairs failing to take down those Scorches, failing to take down those Corsairs. Now static defense is being built there on the side, at least the start of it. There's a shuttle there as well, gets protected by those Corsairs. Scorches unable to get in range of the shuttle. Shuttle flies in over Hydralisk, has to redirect. Inbusjaja manages to spread out his drones and prevent the Scarab from dealing any damage. Smart move from Inbusjaja there to force the bug on the Scarab. Very frustrating for JY because you see the Scarab is out, but it doesn't kill anything whatsoever. But nonetheless, Inbusjaja holds on, playing a pretty solid Zerg so far this game. More drones are in the front, ready to build more static defense. So he's playing the turtle style. He knows he has the turtle for now, although there's very little static defense around his main, mostly just Hydralisks. Still building up very slowly. More overlords being made. This time he's not spreading them out over the map because he knows he's going to lose them. Static defense being made there. Another gateway expo here. Gateways, couple of gateways inside of the base for JY. Adding on more stargates this time. Got fleet beacon. A lot of stuff there. A lot of idle drones around this nexus as well. Gonna have to put them on right. He's putting them on right as I mentioned it. Inbusjaja spotted the static defense there on the side, but he doesn't have Mulus, so he cannot take it down. Hive is on the way. Does he have Overlord transport upgrade or not? Alright, alright, he's putting up his overlords now all across the map for additional vision, so he can, there's a bit of a bigger buffer zone against drops, or can just spot whatever JY is doing. JY building up a lot of cannons here on the middle. Added on more robotic facility as well. All of them producing Reavers. Got Templars there as well. Dragoons also pushing in the front. Inbusjaja's APM now dropped down to a 200 from his very high start. And we know it's not spam. It looks like he just decides to slow down his gameplay and focus on quality over quantity, even though his EPM was 299 in the last replay. So this player's quantity definitely does have quality. The pusher in the front, very slow. Still no observer. What's going on with that? Why aren't you making an observer? You can't push into these lurkers if you don't have an observer, Mr. JY. Not sure what you're doing there. Do you have an observatory? There is no observatory anywhere whatsoever. Well, that means that JY can just hold out forever, basically. Because no observers means you're not going to get in. Corsairs just making sure no overlords are there on the side. This is looking quite... I'm really scratching my head here. Just scratching it non-stop. There's the observatory. Alright, finally, 60 minutes and a half into the game. Observatory is close to finishing up. So that means that JY can progress the push very, very soon. But it just took way too long because Inbusjaja is quite big now. Still 9 hatcheries though, but he's built a lot of static defense all around his main. Planning on camping it out and turtling and protecting his drones. And this is one of the first times I've seen a Korean build so much static defense around their main as Zerg. Most of the time they just use units and lurkers to defend themselves, but this guy just threw down a lot of Sunkens. Probably copying what he saw people do, or he's just been doing it always. More overlords going down. Still a stalemate, no action whatsoever just yet. He's just waiting for that observer to come out. And he is not making an observer though. Alright, 2 observers. No! Why are you not making an observer? Come on. You've got the observatory, bro. Just make the observer so you can, you know, do something. He's got mind control on the way. This is the season before mind control became illegal in Starcraft W, so I assume he's going to try to get a mind control off. He still is not adding more gateways. He's staying rather small in terms of production capacity and ability. Hatches being thrown up on the side here. I like that line. I've been using that line myself as one of some games. Just throw down the line of hatcheries here. Makes it very easy to produce. Like you box select like this. Select the larva and then you just press H or M or whatever hotkey you have for production. And you can immediately pump out a huge amount of units like bam. Same here. Bam, bam, bam. And all of these overlords are now blocking it right now. But like you select the larva like this. Bam. Instead of clicking on it like this, because they move around, this is way faster. You just bam, 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 and you've got a lot of units produced. Same here. The only requirement is that you do hotkey the hatcheries and rally point them to a location, so you can. So this doesn't happen. Like that Hydralisk is not in there and blocking it. Same here. Overlords are blocking it. Looks like he does have it hotkeyed. Oh. Yeah, that was kind of pointless, but it does look cute. The disruption map, so he does have a disruption map. And where is the observer? There's the observer hanging right over the Reaver. I wonder if Inbusjaja is going to try and snipe it. Inbusjaja has ramped up significantly. He's now quite big. And he decides he's going to move out. Scorch is moving in, ready to take down those Corsairs, but he's not going to go for the observer. Maybe it's just outside of the vision range. he gets a couple of hits off on those Corsairs, but the Corsairs now just mining, tearing through those Guardians. Corsairs having single weapon upgrade. Wait, what upgrades does he have? 1, 0, 2, he's in 0, 2, and 2, 0, alright. It's an interesting development. None of these players are upgrading equally, but do have some upgrades, so that's nice to see. Stasis is on the way. Most of these units here have been cleared out by the storms. Inbusjaja has really slowed down, not even microing anymore. He's clearing down the sides here. Smart chose to clear out the sides, give himself some extra room so he can hang those overlords there on the side, but the Corsairs are on the way. Corsairs still debuffed by the Devourer Spore, so it's going to be a slow process of taking down these Guardians. And there it goes, the last one. Frontal attack is going to happen again very soon. Inbusjaja first going to throw down a lot of drones for creeps and turn them into spores or sunkens. Now he changed his rally points to right in between here. It's a nice spot to rally point towards. And once again, the game is in a very slow pace. Overlords being chased down. J.Y not applying any real pressure here. I mean, this is such a slow process with those 3 Reavers. Of course, still a single observer there, which is risky in my opinion, because if Inbusjaja manages to take down that observer, it's going to take a while before J.Y can resume the push. He's going to have to wait for another observer to finish up, and if he just so happens to have 200, or maxed out Psy, it's going to take a while. Inbusjaja has his the Guardian spread out, making it really hard for those Corsairs to get damage down, but the Templars do get pretty beautiful storms off on the entire range of the spread Guardians, but there's simply too many units coming out for Inbusjaja that J.Y cannot fight into. Another good storm comes down, another great storm on those Hydralisks, but more units gonna come out for Inbusjaja because he's got so many hatcheries. This is a row of 15 hatcheries, another 4 there, so 19 hatcheries from which he's producing, and probably producing from his main as well, so 20 hatcheries he's got there to produce from. And as I've mentioned earlier, J.Y has not added on a lot of gateways, so his production is really slow in comparison to Inbusjaja. And Inbusjaja, I think, can pretty much just roll over J.Y here without much trouble. He's going to have to bump out more Hydralisks, send them out into the middle, because those storms are going to run out at some point. Those cannons are going to go down very quick as well. The more units are going to come out. Now a bunch of speedlings moving out of the base for Inbusjaja, getting us around on those runes there. Overlord comes in to get vision over units protected by the Arbiter. Overshoots itself a little bit. Observer there going to go down as well because it gets spotted out. And he calls it GG because he knows he doesn't have the required production facilities, namely gateways, and robotic facilities to fight against Inbusjaja's mass that's just being spammed out so quick, so fast. And I'll have to admit, the game was the game slowed down a lot halfway through, mostly because J.Y did not have an observer and refused to make an observatory 16.5 minutes into the game. And that was kind of depressing to watch from J.Y.'s perspective, because you know the guy is going to die sooner or later because he doesn't have anything that can break into Inbusjaja's base. So Inbusjaja just had to do whatever he had to do, and that is keep his drones alive, which he did quite well. He lost a couple of drones once, but then just kept them alive non-stop all the way through. And J.Y just failed to meet the requirements of playing ZVP, which is quite sad to see. I hope this game would have been a little bit more exciting, though. It just so happened to not be, but it did showcase that Inbusjaja knows what he's doing. Just for the sake of shits and giggles, I'm going to open the SCR chart again and get a look at Inbusjaja's APM and EAPM. Now, considering he slowed down significantly, we do have to take that into account. So it's 271 against 213, pretty high. J.Y also pretty high. I'm actually starting to doubt whether that's accurate, because that is very high, and I honestly didn't see J.Y do all that much. But it's a good ratio, 219, 194. That's very high. 71, 213 is also very high, but the relation between the ratio between the two is a little bit skewed if you compare it to J.Y.'s. And even if you look here at the graph, whoop, you can see his EAPM was way higher during the early stages of the game and really dropped down significantly nearing the end of the game. There's a little spike here when he started to move out and started to produce units, but that's about it. So all in all, I hope you enjoyed this short, I think this video is about 40 minutes now, maybe 45 minutes. I hope you enjoyed these 2 games by Inbusjaja. A little bit of a showcase. Second game not as exciting as the first one. The first one was way more exciting, showcased a lot more of his skill, but not all games are as exciting as the other ones. Second game was a lot of great fundamentals, great decision making, and great turtling, which is also an important skill to have because you got to stay alive as a Zerg against a Protoss, specifically on the mid spot. And he did that very well. So thanks for watching. Come back for a video another time around. And goodbye.